This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
You're listening to Catch Up, an official news production of Public House Media.
Today is June 15th, and it's time to catch up on the news that you need to know about.
Today we are helping you catch up on the latest in news, sports, and pop culture.
We're your hosts, Baxter Colburn
and Madeline Cum. Welcome to Catch Up.
Our top story on this Monday, an Atlanta police officer who fatally shot 27-year-old Rashard Brooks in a Wendy's parking lot Friday night was fired on Sunday. Because of this incident, it has lit a brand new fire in the Black Lives Matter movement, especially in the Atlanta area. This killing provided another rallying cry to protesters demanding an end to police brutality and systemic racism, especially against black people. Since the death of George Floyd back on May 25th in Minneapolis, thousands have flocked to social media and area streets to protest and raise awareness for the movement. Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard first spoke to CNN on Sunday, citing that former Officer Garrett Rolfe could be facing a murder charge for his actions. To add another layer to this story, Police Chief of Atlanta PD, Erica Shields, resigned from her role within the department on Saturday. Brooks died after sustaining 2 gunshot wounds in the back, which led to organ failure and massive blood loss. Mr. Brooks did not seem to present any threat to anyone. The fact that it would escalate to his death seems unreasonable, end quote, said Mr. Howard, the district attorney, to CNN on Sunday. This is a developing story, especially with everything going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. Please stay tuned to Catch Up for more information as we learn more news.
We continue to report the newest updates related to COVID-19 here on Catch Up, but here's a new angle. Potential fraud? Victims of coronavirus fraud have reported false work-from-home offers, messaging asking for personal security and financial information, and ads promising cures. Criminals have even gone to the lengths of faking unemployment claims on behalf of people who haven't lost their jobs. This continues to spread across our nation. Many agencies have been bombarded with claims due to high demand and aren't as meticulous while approving paperwork. Merchants have been selling fake necessities online, such as soap, toilet paper, and cleaning supplies. Fake charity websites or loan scams have people pulling out their wallets to only be bamboozled. Official notices that claim to be from the government alert recipients that they have been overpaid in government benefits and that they need to return the money. W-2 scams have been reported as well. Be aware of any message or phone call you may receive and don't give out personal information on the phone or online regarding these threats. Use your best judgment and research or call back the number to verify it is a reputable call.
The NBA is tentatively scheduled to resume the regular season in a bubble environment in Orlando at the end of July, but players seem to be split over several key issues, and a few high-profile stars are calling for the season to be called off. One such is Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving. He has emerged as a leading voice against a return to basketball. Joining him, among others, is Dwight Howard, who's posted on social media. To talk about all this, especially with the fact that we thought we were all good to go with sports, especially the NBA, is our Catch-Up sports correspondent, John Lauder. John, thanks for joining us on Catch-Up today.
Baxter, thanks for having me.
So, John, it seemed like the NBA was all buttoned up. They were one of the first ones to really kind of put their plan together. And now Dwight Howard has come out basically saying that he feels many others should not even bother playing right now until, as many folks have focused on these last few weeks, all the issues going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. Where do you stand? What's the latest on this information right now?
Well, look, the first thing, Baxter, is anyone that thought the NHL would be the most prepared to come back and play, raise your hand, because this is getting really crazy. Obviously, Major League Baseball is a mess. That's a whole nother situation. And now with the NBA, it seemed like everything was moving in the right direction. Adam Silver, considered the best pro sports commissioner in America at this point. But now there's a dissenting group of players. There was about 80 players in this conference call on Friday talking about possibly not playing because of the social reform issues. And you mentioned Dwight Howard posting on social media saying right now the biggest thing, focusing on families, focusing on the movement. And even though Dwight Howard wants to win an NBA championship, the unity of his people would be an even bigger deal. And it just seems now like, despite the fact that it seems like the NBA is going to be able to get this back underway, some players have a concern that it's going to take away from this Black Lives Matter movement.
And that's certainly going to be something that many will focus on. When you look at the gravity of it, as of right now, LeBron James has still said that he plans to play. And I think as many folks believe and know, as the way LeBron goes, so does the rest of the NBA. If LeBron doesn't come out in this area of supporting Kyrie and Dwight and these others in the sense of saying, no, we shouldn't play, do you feel like this tournament and this mini season essentially still happen, or do you feel like there's going to be enough that will stop it from happening until they can figure more out?
Well, look, Adam Silver must be, sitting in his, golden NBA throne praying that LeBron James is not going to agree with Kyrie and some of these other players, because as Patrick Beverley said on social media this past weekend, if LeBron James says we're going to play, we're going to play. He's the most important player in the league. He's the face of the league. If he's going to play, Baxter, there's going to be a season. There's nothing that Kyrie Irving can do about it. I find it really interesting that two of the biggest voices in this call was Kyrie Irving, a player that's not going to play because he's hurt anyway, and Brooklyn Nets have nothing to do with this because they're not in the playoffs, and also Carmelo Anthony, whose best seasons were 7-8 years ago. So I still think this is going to happen, but if LeBron James comes out and says he's not going to play either, the NBA has a massive problem on their hands, and something is going to have to happen between the owners and the players, or you could see the NBA going the way Major League Baseball is right now.
And at some point, we'd like to hope that the quote-unquote normalcy of having live sports again will be a reality. And if that does happen, of course, John, we will have you back to talk about it. So thank you for shedding some light on this and for stopping by Catch Up today.
I appreciate it, Baxter. Thank you.
Ending the show on a happy note, country music star Alan Jackson caught the drive-in concert bug this weekend, performing one of the first large-scale car-side shows in North America. Since the COVID-19 pandemic caused artists, promoters, and venue owners to pause virtually all touring in mid-March, a decision that trade publication Pollstar said could cost the music industry $9 billion this year.
The Country Music Hall of Famer played the first of 2 Alabama drive-in shows this weekend for an estimated 2,000 vehicles in rural Cullman, at about 140 miles south of Nashville. He's the latest in the growing list of Nashville entertainers, primarily in Christian music and country, to turn to nostalgic drive-in cinemas or open field stages for a music meets tailgate kind of experience.
And as showgoers offered scattered applause from truck beds and car windows, Jackson said he appreciated returning to the stage. Jackson
was quoted as saying, "I love cars, greeting a sea of headlights. This is perfect for me. The main thing, we're just glad to get out of the house and have a good time with y'all down here."
Garth Brooks will also be doing a similar event in the coming weeks. It just goes to show that you can never fully take the performing out of the performer.
Thanks for catching up on today's news with us. I'm Baxter Colburn.
And I'm Madeline Kumm. Please be sure to catch up with us again tomorrow.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review.
We appreciate you listening to Catch Up. For even more content, follow Catch Up Digital on social media.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the stories we covered today. Just use the hashtag #PassTheCatchup on social media to interact with us.
Catch Up is an official production of Public House Media.